Hi guys, my name is Maren. As you can tell by the title of this video, I'm going to talk to you about fibromyalgia. Let me just readjust myself here. I've recently been diagnosed, and I started looking for information online to see what's available and to learn as much as I can. And I discovered that there's not very much information, which is, that tells you a lot about the perception of this syndrome. And I decided to make videos. The advantage of watching my videos is that you're going to discover fibromyalgia as I discover fibromyalgia, because as I said, I've been recently diagnosed. I'm learning about it and learning to adjust to it. I'll give you a little bit more information about me. I'm 27 years, just turned 27 like 3 weeks ago. And I'm a law student. I'm finishing my first year. I have type 1 diabetes since I was 17. I have a ongoing back problem since I was 19. My diabetes ended up developing into neuropathy, diabetic neuropathy in my feet. And for about 1.5 years now, I've been suffering from problems with my hands. I've previously worked as a court stenographer or typist, depending on where you are. And that is a very classic kind of thing. The fibromyalgia is just being diagnosed recently. I did one more test a week ago exactly, last Sunday. I did an MRI for my pelvis to rule out scoliosis, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I don't have it. So that's good news, because that's, I think, pretty nasty, but I just don't know. And the rheumatologist said that if that comes back with no symptoms or diagnosis of scoliosis, that means that it's definitely fibromyalgia. His last checkup, he said that it's most suspected. Most probably, I'm sorry. the referral that I got before that was suspected. So I find the documentations very interesting and amusing. So as you can see, I've not been a healthy individual. Although until this, I've never considered myself disabled or sick, which is interesting, because you don't think of yourself as sick with diabetes or with back problems, because most of the Western world kind of has back problems. Now, what else should I tell you? My fibromyalgia comes to affect and several different things. Irritable bowel syndrome, which I've had for a long time, and my father has it, my sister has it too. I warned my sister that she needs to cool it. She's younger than I am, and I told her that I think that she's also in a position in life that she's capable of developing this. I'm used to having a very active life, and that's just not the case anymore because of the fibromyalgia. I also suffer from chronic fatigue syndrome. I sleep and I'm still tired. I wake up in the morning, still tired. I'm just exhausted consistently. If I do certain things, it wears me out so quickly, it's unbelievable. I think that's like the main issue that I'm dealing with. My migraines. I used to have migraines when I was in high school, and that kind of went away, but every now and then I would get a migraine. In the past 1.5 years or so, I have horrible migraines. I mean, I've always been nauseated, but now it's developed into throwing up too, which is apparently kind of common. It's like 30% of people who have migraines end up throwing up. I actually went to a neurologist regarding that. My back problems, which were perfectly doable. I could deal with them. I exercised and made sure I sat properly and took care of it and took it seriously. I dealt with it in the past year or so. It's kind of gone AWOL. soreness. I mean, all these little aches and pains that I used to go to the orthopedist for, and all of a sudden everything kind of clicked. And when I went to the rheumatologist for the first time, he asked me about if I've been suffering from little pains, and I said, listen, you suffer from stiffness in certain places, but you don't really complain about it because something like this starts and then something like this starts, and just kind of go with the flow and roll with the punches. I said the big problems I complained of that. So I had pains in my pelvis, and I have horrible knee pains. I used to get them when I was young, and they called them growing pains. And then I would get them since I don't know, 17. I would get them like 3 to 4 times a year, right around that time of the month. They would be sensitive. So if I went to sleep, it usually happened during the evening, and I'd go to sleep, and in the morning it would go away. Now they're just consistent. Another trigger point, another point where it hurts, but it's not a trigger point, are my ankles. My ankles hurt. Just not a trigger point, don't ask me. And my neck, like the back of my neck, where it meets my back and my jaws sometimes hurt. I try not to chew gum because I think that makes it worse, and I haven't chewed gum for a while, so it's not like there are existing pains that all of a sudden get worse. They just all of a sudden started they had to do with nothing. I hope I'm not rambling. I'm trying not to. So that's it. So I officially have fibromyalgia. Yeah. Here we go. There's something quite relieving about having an official diagnosis, I gotta say, because you know what you have. I mean, it's kind of a icky disease. It's not a disease, it's a syndrome to have. I'm not happy that I have it, but I'm relieved to know that that's what all this is, because I guess I'm one of the lucky ones. It didn't take me 3 to 4 years. I didn't go through tons of doctors. All in all, I was lucky to get a little bit of pointers. I'm not surprised that I ended up getting this. It's kind of funny, but 2 years ago, I know somebody who has fibromyalgia, and about 2.5 years ago or so, she asked me if I checked it out, if I have it. Now, probably at the time I didn't have it. That I'm assuming that I got it. I pretty much have an idea of when I got it. I think I got it about 1.5 years ago, or 2.5 years ago. So she must have asked me before that, and I said, no, I don't have fibromyalgia. All my symptoms have an explanation. I have back problems because I have my cartilage. I don't know what's to call in English. My cartilage between my spine is like close together, and it puts pressure on the nerve, and that's a trigger from a car accident that I was in when I was 19, and I have diabetic neuropathy, and that causes trouble in general. So I didn't think I have it, and I felt really bad taking that diagnosis because I felt that it's an insult. I still kind of feel like it's an insult towards people who really have it, as opposed to me. I'm still kind of taking it in. I have trouble pronouncing that I have it, and I think it's more difficult than accepting that you have diabetes or seeing that you have back problems, because with my back problems I saw an x-ray, so you can see what the problem is. You have an expert reading it and saying this is it, and then diabetes, it's just a blood test that points it out, and here, take insulin and we're all done. So it's gonna be interesting. You're welcome to join me on my journey. That's it. If you have any questions, feel free.